Imagine seeing something that just doesn't make sense. Like, picture a big, tough-looking dog, one that could probably take down a burglar in seconds, being best friends with a tiny little rat. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened. And this isn't some made-up story. This is real life. This story is about Osiris, a German Shepherd mix, and Riff, a rat. And trust me, their friendship is one of the most unexpected, most heartwarming things you'll ever hear about. It challenges everything we think we know about how animals interact. So, how did a dog and a rat go from total strangers to being absolutely inseparable? Let me tell you. Osiris wasn't always this happy, well-loved dog. He had a rough start. He was abandoned, just left in a parking lot like an old piece of furniture someone didn't want anymore. Can you imagine? A little puppy, alone, scared, probably wondering what he did wrong. No food, no water, just waiting for someone to come back for him. But no one ever did. Luckily, someone spotted him. A kind-hearted stranger saw this tiny, helpless puppy and knew they couldn't just walk away. They called a local animal rescue, and soon Osiris was taken in. He had a warm place to sleep, regular meals, and people who cared about him. But even with all that, something was missing. He was safe, but he wasn't whole. Then there's Riff, a rat. But not just any rat. A rat who, just like Osiris, had a rough start. Riff was found when he was barely a month old, so small, so fragile, he wouldn't have lasted much longer on his own. His new owner took him in, fed him with a tiny syringe, and watched over him 24/7. If you've ever had to care for a sick pet, you know how much effort it takes. Riff needed constant attention just to survive. And Osiris, he noticed. From the moment Riff came into the house, Osiris was watching. Not in a scary, I might eat you way, but in a curious, almost protective way. It was like he knew, like he could sense that Riff was just as lost as he had once been. Now, here's where things get interesting. When Riff was finally strong enough, it was time to introduce him to Osiris. And let's be real, no one knew how this would go. Would Osiris see Riff as a friend? Or would his natural instincts kick in? Because at the end of the day, dogs chase rats. That's just how nature works. But Osiris, he didn't chase Riff. He didn't growl, didn't snap, didn't do anything aggressive. Instead, he sniffed him, licked him, gently, like he was saying, "Hey, I got you." And just like that, something clicked. From that day on, they were inseparable. You'd think a dog and a rat wouldn't have much in common, but these two, they did everything together. They played together, ate together, even slept side by side. And the wildest part, Riff wasn't even scared of Osiris. He trusted him completely. At one point, their owner noticed something insane. Riff would literally climb into Osiris's mouth and clean his teeth. Let that sink in for a second. A rat inside a dog's mouth, just casually doing dental work. And Osiris let him. He just sat there, totally calm, like it was the most normal thing in the world. That's when people really started paying attention, because this wasn't just a cute friendship. This was something special, something that made people stop and rethink everything they knew about animals and relationships. So, how is this even possible? How does a huge dog bond with a tiny rat like this? Some say it's because they both went through hardship. They both knew what it was like to be small, vulnerable, and alone. And when you've been through something like that, maybe it makes you more open to love, no matter where it comes from. Others think it's just personality. Some dogs are naturally gentle. Some rats are naturally fearless. Maybe Osiris just had a kind heart. Maybe Riff was just extra brave. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, this friendship wasn't normal, and people couldn't get enough of it. As soon as their owner started sharing photos and videos of Osiris and Riff, people went crazy. The internet couldn't believe what they were seeing. A dog and a rat, not just coexisting, but genuinely loving each other. It was too much. The videos went viral. The photos got shared thousands, then millions of times. People started commenting things like, "I didn't know I needed this in my life. If these two can be friends, why can't we all get along? This just healed something in me." And honestly, they were wrong. Because in a world where we're constantly told to stick to our own kind, where differences often divide us instead of bringing us together, this was proof that love doesn't care about any of that. Love is love, no matter what. So, what can we learn from Osiris and Riff? Maybe it's that friendship isn't about looking the same or being the same. Maybe it's about finding someone who understands you, even if no one else does. Maybe it's about being open to love in places you never expected to find it. Or maybe it's just about not overthinking things. Osiris didn't stop to wonder if he was supposed to be friends with a rat. He just loved him, simple as that. So, here's my challenge to you. Be like Osiris. Be like Riff. Don't let the world tell you who you should or shouldn't connect with. If you feel a bond with someone, embrace it. And hey, if this story made you smile, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs a little reminder that love comes in all shapes and sizes. And if you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe. Because trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.